Welcome to Pride Partners International's monthly webinar. Thank you for joining us today. Pride Partners International is a global partnership of firms and specialists in transfer pricing and financial valuation. The association is the meeting ground for professionals capable of facing a challenging business environment, helping them connect to boost their continuous professional development and enhance their technical and human skills and abilities. This partnership is made up of experts recognized by their trajectory and prestige in the transfer pricing and financial valuation fields. Experts that constantly participate in the exchange of technical information, knowledge development, and implementation of global best practices. When a firm joins the PPI partnership, it increases its scope immediately and exponentially. Business becomes much simpler by accessing training, technology, resource optimization, and new business opportunities, among other benefits. We invite you to learn more about Pride Partners International. Contact our agents and be part of the global elite of transfer pricing and financial valuation consulting. Our transmission will begin shortly. We invite you to participate actively by sending all your questions or comments through the live chat. Again, thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoy the event.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our attendees. Really excited to say that from the looks of things, I think we have people joining us today from over a dozen countries. And yeah, a really good turnout. So thank you all ever so much for your time. And of course, thanks goes out to PPI that we're working in partnership with for providing us with this platform today. So, as you'll recall, we're looking to discuss the business valuation process in of itself. I'm very keen on presenting Valutico to you all as well. In terms of our presenters today, you're going to have the likes of me. I'm Stuart Pascal. I'm a VP of Sales, and I've been working with Valutico now for the last 2 years. Also really happy to say that we're joined by Mr. Paul Resch. Paul is our founder and CEO. He's based in Vienna, Austria, and he'll be joining us today. He'll actually feature as part of our Q&A session towards the very end. Well aware of the fact that we're relatively tight on time today, so we'll need to hop on through our presentation here. Probably a very quick demo of the platform over the course of 20 minutes. First things first, we'll look at some industry challenges, discuss some of our international clients. As I say, a relatively rapid demo of the product itself too. We'll go live in platform. Then we can touch upon pricing, have a bit of a discussion, Q&A session there towards the very end. So Valutico, I know that we've all received some information in the run-up to this webinar today. We are a relatively new fintech. We've been in business now for the last 5.5 years. We do cater to a wide array of different financial services firms globally. Our goal was initially to streamline the business valuation process in of itself and to provide our clients with access to very high quality data. Now, high quality financial data is becoming widely available. There are very many data providers out there that are doing a reasonable job. Spreadsheets, for the most part, are the default go-to practice there for the majority of firms. They tend to be relatively ill-equipped to deal with big data, and of course, we're seeing a surge in modern times. The demand for process automation as well within finance has become pretty notable. Internationally, we're seeing certain specific regulatory requirements, the need to adhere to different practices and standards internationally. It's something that we'll quite often consult on. And valuation standards worldwide, they're converging. In modern times, best practice is being shared globally especially across the more sizable firms there, where there are multiple offices worldwide. And in terms of how best to address certain specific methodologies, piecing together different types of reports, there is that sharing from country to country there. Clients have become more and more demanding. Whatever the reason is that you actually need to put together some form of business valuation report, it becomes pretty important that you've got access to high quality data sources, best practice business valuation methodologies. Now, not just publicly traded firms, but of course, privately held entities, qualitative, quantitative information, deciding how best to apply those to your business valuation reports and acting accordingly. So in terms of Valutico, as I say, relatively new presence. Now we're currently in use in just over 40 countries with just over 400 customers. Now we provide our clients with access to data on 50,000+ publicly traded firms. And when it comes down to precedent transactions, vast majority of which are privately held institutions. Terms of those acquisition, we have roughly about 840,000+ of those, again, housed in a very sort of intuitive manner, laid out, easily accessible within the platform. Now, who are Valutico's clients? What types of businesses worldwide are piecing together privately held company valuations? There should be a handful of recognizable names there. You can see that we've very much been taking the globe by storm as much as we were a European entity only about 2 or 3 years ago, and exclusively so. We now have a significant presence within Northern America, Latin America, and without question, some of those recognizable names that you see featured here, they're more than happy to attest to the value witnessed as they're making use of the business valuation platform there. Over the course of the first, I would say, year and a half within Valutico, I was actively involved with speaking with a number of our clients, putting together customer reviews, annual reviews, piecing together their perceived opportunities to improve upon the platform as well. Really, our clients tend to fall into one of 4 buckets. So M&A advisory firms, both buy and sell side, love the platform through and through. Now, they love the cost-effective means within which they can access high-quality private company data, piecing together business valuation reports that allows them to, actively negotiate, whether it be prices up, prices down, but justifying the business valuation range that they place upon any given firm. Bucket number 2, valuation practitioners, business brokers, exit planners, to a degree, far smaller institutions, typically anywhere from about 1 to 10 employees, types of firms that will offer up valuations for a fee. So whether it be $5,000 to $55,000, depending upon the nature of the engagement itself. A straightforward offering. Their goal is simply to streamline process and save time. All right, bucket number 3, high street banking institutions. More importantly, I think very specifically investment banking institutions within the US have been making great use of the platform of late. As it stands, we now have 64 of them on board. Typically relatively sizable firms. More often than not, they're quite keen on us white labeling the platform, basically reskinning it to give it the look and feel of their website so that ultimately they can sit with their clients or their prospective clients and pass our software off as their own. Perfectly acceptable to us, of course, comes with additional fees and charges there, but it allows them to sit shoulder to shoulder with their clients or conduct those types of Zoom calls whilst giving the impression that they're operating within their own website there. Pretty great offering. So finally, accounting firms. So the bucket within which we'll see the majority of Valutico clients, so just over 50% of our clients worldwide, they're CPAs and the like. So we currently have 7 of the top 15 accounting firms worldwide that have standardized the use of the business valuation platform, and a handful of really notable institutions are currently piloting the program itself, operating across multiple different practitioners, firms like KPMG. And of course, Grant Thornton, to me, is probably the most recognizable name that you'll see featured there. Okay, so that's really the types of clients that tend to make the best use of the business valuation platform. In terms of the platform's core competencies, so what are we looking to accomplish here? What do we offer up to our clients? First and foremost, I think it's convenience. We're really here to help streamline the process. If we can allow our clients to put together robust business valuation reports in hours rather than days, the savings time. Time's money, of course. For the vast majority of our clients, having the ability to hop into an online, a web-based business valuation platform is extremely useful. Fully flexible. Flexibility to operate within the platform, not deviating to cookie cutter type outputs there, but heavily customizing the outputs Of course, assuming that you have multiple different types of reports, giving you the ability to save each and every one of those as a default within the platform. Once again, reproducing them with up-to-date market information in a fraction of the amount of time. Improved comparisons, precedent transactions, high quality data. We are remarkably proud to communicate the fact that we partner with the very best. So when it comes down to data provision, whether it be publicly traded firms or privately held entities, to us, there's no better than Standard & Poor's Cap IQ. And we're pumped to say that we've partnered with them as of day one. We do also have multiple private company data providers that route their information through our platform. Our development team has done a really good job of intuitively, collating all of that information, making it searchable, functional within the platform, so that if you have hundreds of thousands of deals that you need to work your way through over the course of the next few minutes with a view to finding XYZ, they allow that to take place. And cost reduction. It's a really cost-effective means within which you can go ahead and access the platform. More than happy to discuss this on a one-on-one basis, but we are providing 40% discounts to all PPI members that subscribe over the course of Q1. Vast majority of our clients express some form of concern with the need to be spending significant 5- and 6-figure sums on data subscriptions there. We give our clients the ability to rapidly access all the information that they need at an absolute fraction of the cost. Okay, let's hop into a platform demo. Okay, you should be able to see my screen. I'm taking you straight to our online valuation platform. Let's go ahead and log in. We'll give you a look around. We recently launched the 3.0 version of our platform as of January the 1st. That came with some alterations to our pricing model there. Now, our goal is really to build out bespoke subscriptions for any given entity that says, hey, there's great value to be had here. We have multiple different practitioners that might go ahead and benefit from the use of the platform. How best do we package this up? For any given firm that subscribes to the valuation platform, becomes a Valutico subscriber, you can see they gain access to the 3 modules listed off here. Resources gives you access to valuation parameters, so industry multiples broken out by geographic locations. There's a wide array of industry information here. It's a bit of a library of sorts. Strongly recommend checking that out. Capital markets is made use of by roughly about 50% of our clients. Relevant to some, less relevant to others, but it basically allows you to put together or to apply, let's say, 15 best practice business valuation methodologies to publicly traded firms. So if you wanted to contest today's value of Tesla as an example, that would be a logical starting point. More than likely, you'll be spending the majority of time within private markets. That allows you to create business valuation reports based upon geographic location, industry sector, annual revenue. We ask that our clients go ahead and pop in all relevant information here, running on the assumption this business, theoretical or fictional business, is based within the US. We can now delve into industry classifications here. NAICS codes, NAICS. Do your research. Come up with a specific industry sector there. Sub-industry sector, make sure we get it right. Once again, we're going to stick with a construction and engineering example today. We'll keep it pretty generic, because this gives us the best chance of getting through this in the time allocated here. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, but we're up to the task. Construction and engineering, base currency USD. Let's, of course, tweak the annual revenues there. Let's say that we're looking at 50 million bucks. Publicly traded companies, we're going to go with ACOM here. We don't spend an awful lot of time looking at listed firms, but it is important for certain methodologies so that we can apply discounts to trading multiples. I've dropped in ACOM. It's the right sub-industry sector, geographic location. It's going to provide us with our framework, so let's move on. Valuation date. Valutico is required to store 3 terabytes worth of data on an ongoing basis. Consider that all of our data providers provide us with a Venn diagram of sorts with a multitude or a real wealth of information being received each and every day. Now, all of this information is stored because that allows us to allow, or effectively allow, our clients to produce historical valuations. If you wanted to value a firm as of the 4th of July 2012, you could pop the date in here. It would apply only information relevant at the time, but if we leave it blank, of course, it's going to be a valuation as of today. Okay, qualitative assessment. This is a bit of a fork in the road. Now, if the report that you're producing needs to stand up in a court of law, it should not include any form of subjectivity. And this is likely where you would skip the qualitative assessment. By design, it's supposed to be subjective. The vast majority of our clients love or really appreciate the warm entry into any given business valuation. As we work our way down the left-hand side here, you'll see risk-related topics or business-related topics that are all designed to allow us to quantify the level of risk that this business is facing. Now, the risk factor that we develop as a consequence will alter our cost of equity premium along with our discounts to trading multiples. Now, you can see we have a default starting point here. It's a Duff & Phelps 5.0 for cost of equity premium. The discounts here are at minus 30%. Now, based upon the movement of these levers, take a look at that risk factor and see how its movement affects the cost of equity premium along with those discounts. The more sizable a firm relative to its peers, the less risk a business faces. Now, the smaller the firm, you'll see that risk factor start to climb. As a consequence, so does the cost of equity premium. And that discount to trading multiples goes all the way up to just shy of minus 41%. That's based upon our best practice weighting that you see down the right-hand side here. These are, of course, customizable. You can alter them if you see fit. So that's without saying they need to add up to 100% there. But depending upon the assigned level of importance, pop in whichever numbers you wish, then work your way through market-related factors here. What type of market share, competition is there? Perhaps exposure to business cycles. What management quality? Reliance upon key individuals, perhaps. Sales-related topics. Let's take a really good or long, hard look at the customer base there. Is 80% of the revenue coming from 20% of the customers? If so, makes for a riskier business. That places a high reliance upon key customers. It affects our risk factor accordingly. And you get the gist. We work our way through each and every one of these factors. Now, our clients do enjoy the fact that this is designed to stimulate some form of conversation with their clients. Now, this can be a pretty dry science, and we get awfully more scientific in some of the tabs that we'll work our way through shortly. But as and when a prospective client reaches out to one of our practitioners, to one of our clients and says, hey, what do you think my business is worth? They appreciate having the structured ability to put together a meaningful conversation there, showing that they're really making the effort to understand the business as best they can, rather than simply volleying back with a number-heavy spreadsheet, which can be typical within this industry sector. All right, capital intensity, leverage, FX, currency risk for anything in the way of cross-border payments there, importers, exporters. We now have our cost of equity premium, 6.3%, our discount to trading multiples of 37.8%. None of those numbers, or neither of those numbers, is baked. Simply our starting point. But we're now going to work our way onto our next tab, which is the peer selection that you see here. You recall that I selected AECOM, construction and engineering firm. You can see the source of that information there. Now, based upon that input, the platform has given us a number of similar type businesses. These are the platform's recommendations based upon size, sub-industry sector, geographic location. I'm going to go ahead and delete some of those, but let's get to grips with the methodology here. The platform has taken firms that we believe to be comparable, so solid peers, albeit they're much more sizable, and we can certainly filter those out, coming up with smaller peers if we wish. We do have access to over 51,000 publicly traded firms here. filter this out accordingly, but with each and every one of these firms, we draft in CapIQ financial data, so industry multiples. We tally up each and every one of those multiples to secure our medians that you see here across the bottom. Compare those to industry medians. Let's make sure that we're not too far off point. This is where we apply those discounts to trading multiples. You recall that it was minus 37.8 at the end of the qualitative analysis. It's not set in stone, though. It's worthy of note that you can alter these if you wish. You can even do so on a column-by-column basis. May well be the case that one of our clients as a practitioner decides to discount EBITDA multiples to the tune of 45% rather than 38%. If so, simply click on the box, alter those numbers accordingly. That then gives us our applied metric, which we'll take on to the business plan. Before doing so, guys, it's very, very important that we get the right peers in the first place. Now, if we need any more information on what a business does, by hovering over that eye icon, you can see it's relatively high level. We click on the three dots here, we get a wealth of information on what the peers do. Let's truly understand AECOM to the best of our ability. Now, give us a business description here. Let's really understand what markets they cater to, who their client base is, geographic locations, the regulatory environment there, product, service offerings. All of these drop-down menus really allow our clients to get to grips with what the firm does. Clicking on financials gives you a wealth of financial information that is updated every 24 hours. Once again, you'll see our source is the very best in the business. If we're looking for similar peers, click here. If this turns out to be a fantastic comp and we want more of the same, the platform will start to recommend comparable firms, once again within the same industry sector, geographic location, and of a similar size. If I wanted to go ahead and add Primoris to my folder as an example, by me clicking on that plus icon, you'll see it was just added to my folder here. At this point, I'll click on benchmarking to try and best understand what type of historical sales growth we've seen over the last 2 to 3 years. Take a look at the CapIQ analyst forecast for the next 2 to 3 years, and let's try to match these up as best we can to the charts that would compare with the privately held firm that we're valuing. If Joe Bloggs Incorporated, the construction and engineering firm that we're looking at today, is growing to the tune of, let's say, 5% every 10 years, or every 3 years, let's say, ideally you'd want to be comparing them to similar peers with similar historical growth, comparable future forecasts. Once you're done with your benchmarking, go ahead and move on. We're happy with the peers that we've selected here. We'll hop into business plan so that we can start uploading some financials. This is where we strongly recommend that our clients go ahead and download the Valutico model template. Now, this is an Excel spreadsheet that's been very specifically designed to soak up as much information as possible about any privately held firm that we're valuing. Heavily customizable in nature, of course. We can tweak this depending upon our clients' requirements, depending upon who they're catering to. It can be made more complex, more concise. What's ultimately most important is the export tab here. Now, for as much of this data or info that we can collate, hop into the platform, or sorry, the spreadsheet there. We can drag and drop that into the platform, and it's uploaded within seconds. Now, in terms of producing simplified business projections, so financial projections there, click on Valutico Estimates if you wish. And this is where we give you a helping hand in terms of piecing together projections for the set and specific time frame that you choose. Now, the financial projections that you see here, they're not simply guesswork. They're very much based upon both the validation and the benchmarking of the proposed financials from the firms that we vetted in the first place. So AECOM and comparable peers. We can take historical looks along with financial projections for sales, EBITDA, EBIT, net income, CapEx, other and with the overview, you've got a wealth of charts and graphs there, data that you can choose to either include or not within the business valuation report. All right, we've uploaded financials. We've worked our way through financial projections. We've tweaked our time frame accordingly. Scenario Manager is a great feature. Now, depending upon the nature, the underlying reason behind why you're piecing together a business valuation in the first place, this feature might be of use. This allows you to produce differing scenarios. You can entitle them whatever you wish. It's going to involve you uploading differing sets of financials. Maybe we want to take a look at best or worst case scenarios. We'll keep the peers, we'll keep the precedent transactions, but if, let's say as an M&A advisory specialist, perhaps you're working with a prospective client that has an extremely optimistic view of, future forecasted, financial projections there. Perhaps they have a wildly inflated view as to what the business is worth in the first place. Every now and again, you're going to need to put together differing reports for the same firm. Now, once you've done so, they're going to be housed within the library that you see here. You can see the reports down the left-hand side that I've created for clients of ours over the last couple of months. All auto-saved, by the way. If ever you're a client of mine a couple of months ago out here in Texas, that as the power went down, she was frantically concerned that she was likely to lose all the work that she put in over the course of a morning. But there's full-on auto-save features there. So if for whatever reason the platform, your power source or laptop goes down, everything that you've done thus far, once again, is housed within your library. All right, done with our financials. We've put together financial projections. Let's check out transactions. This is typically, in terms of our time and motion studies, this is really where we tend to see our clients spend about 50 to 60% of their time. The announcement date that you see here is the point in time within which the bidder company, which is public or private, acquired the target company, again, public or private, but for the most part, there's a very heavy bias towards private company data. You can see the target country, target sub-industry sector there. You can also get a good overview as to what these businesses do by hovering over those eye icons. Once again, source of data there, Cap IQ's Pro Package. All right, these look like outdated transactions here. If I go ahead and remove those, through learning algorithms, the platform starts to realize, hey, Stu doesn't like the look of deals that have closed any further back than 5 years, let's say. The more I make use of the platform, the more it will start to act accordingly and recommend only the type of information that I've selected in the past. If we're looking for more context and we want to truly understand what the URS Corporation does, as an example, click on Target Profile. Now, amazingly, we tend to provide anywhere from about 200 to about 10,000 words worth of a business description, once again, giving a very good overview as to what public, private companies tend to be doing. Details, useful information. This gives you the terms of the acquisition. As very rarely is it the case that company A buys company B for cash, and we all move on. There's always more information required there. Go through that at your leisure. If you like the look of it, we're looking for similar transactions, click up here. Platform will make recommendations, whether it be the practitioner themselves or analysts that are working in support. Work your way through each and every one of these deals, go through all relevant information, and decide whether or not it's worthy of adding those deals to your folder. Advanced search. This gives us the ability here to work our way across 841,000 company acquisitions. Full text search, we can search for keywords as part of the business description. There's and or minus search functionality here. You may well say that I need companies that have the keyword A and keyword B or keyword C featured within the business description, based within this specific country, this industry sector, deal value sub $5 million, stake acquired, majority stake. Filter this out as required, but once again, access to over 841,000 transactions. It's a ton of information. Custom transactions. Now, additional data providers, it's more than likely the case. We all have multiple. There are so very many of our clients that will come to us with 3, 4, 5 different subscriptions there, varying data providers, and ultimately they'll find that Valutico tends to be more of a one-stop shop for them. But of course, if you have access to information that you don't find within the platform, feel free to go ahead and add it here as part of your custom transaction. All information added to the platform is of course, it's fully confidential there. We don't share that from one user to another. And if ever you're looking to bulk upload, you can reach out to your customer success management team and they can provide you with some form of assistance. Quick side note, by the way, so we do have an award-winning service level agreement. As and when you require anything in the way of assistance within the platform, reach out to the customer success management team. Their service level agreement is to respond within 3 to 5 minutes. To the vast majority of our clients, that's pretty remarkable. More often than not, we're used to, certainly within the US, we're used to dealing with customer success or customer service agents that are either automated responders or some form of bot, giving you suggested responses there or hyperlinks, enabling you to go out and solve your own problem. We're big believers in providing experts within the platform so that as and when there's anything in the way of a fire drill, anything in the way of support required, literally within a couple of minutes, we're screen sharing and assisting as best we can. Okay, we have apples for apples comparisons. We're looking at small companies of a comparable value, similar geographic location, set-specific sub-industry sector there. Nothing is applied in the way of discounts to trading multiples. Again, we're looking at like for like. If you want to go ahead and apply discounts, feel free to do so. But we do have our applied metrics. Let's go ahead and click on valuation here, and that will take us to the overview page. Believe it or not, we're almost done. I think we're making some pretty good time. Okay, valuation date. Now, as of today, you can see currency in USD millions. Our overview page, which is a football field chart, gives us a quick look at entity approaches. So DCF, WACC, and APV. You can see our equity approaches here. Trading comparables. Transaction comparables. And typically that's followed up by leverage buyout, giving us a valuation range of $8 to $10 million. Quality of information in, high quality of report coming out the other side. It's relatively generic information we've thrown in, so it's a notable range there, 8 to 10 million bucks. What's super important though is that for each and every one of these methodologies, we're not just leaving them floating out there. We need to also include all relevant charts, graphs, calculations, and sensitivity analysis. Basically giving our clients the ability to show their work. Now you decide who the end viewer will be. For any given client of ours, the customer success manager that we allocate to your account, he or she will more than likely come from a very solid valuation background, licensed, certified, and business valuation practitioner perhaps, but their goal is to understand the ultimate objective behind piecing together these types of reports in the first place. If this is a very small business owner, us producing a 150-page business valuation report is going to hold really limited value. Might ultimately end up shooting yourself in the foot by doing so. We need to tailor each and every one of these to meet the client's requirements, or the client's requirements. All right, so we have our overview page here. Change parameters. I mentioned the fact that this was the first draft. You've got the ability to hop in here and alter the valuation ranges. Experiment. Work your way through tax rates, risk-free rates, market risk premium, cost of equity premium, DCF, APV, DDM, LPO. For any of the alterations that you make down the right-hand side, as long as you click on Update at the very bottom, in real time, you'll see the graphics vary and change here within your report. Confused with the implication of making any of those alterations? Once again, I'll point you in the direction of the customer success management team. Their mean response time, by the way, over the course of 2021 was 92 seconds. So these guys are doing a really great job. Can't rate them highly enough. All right, let's run on the assumption that we're relatively happy here. Click on into export. Now, just as we start to wrap this up, you've got the ability to go ahead and export your chosen report within PowerPoint or Word. Now, we can provide sample reports to any given prospective client of ours that says, look, this may potentially make sense for our business. Maybe we should sit down and discuss in a bit more detail. Maybe a one-on-one demo makes good business sense here. Ultimately, what's most important is that we draw your attention to the Add Custom Template feature. Customer success managers may well say to you, hey, show us what good looks like in your world. Give us a look at the last business valuation report that you've produced. Let's see if we can go ahead and turbocharge that. Maybe we save it in platform, but give you access to almost 150 different placeholders. Once again, varying charts, graphs, methodologies. What allows you to best tell the story that you need to tell right now? How robust, how non-contestable does this report need to be? And if so, once we do understand those set and specific requirements, you can tailor your exports, piece these together yourself, and there's no limit to the number of exported or, bespoke default reports that you do have within the export tab. So that was a lightning fast run through of the business valuation platform itself. As I say, typically it takes about an hour or so for us to actually work our way through a full-on demo. So any firm out there that thinks they might see potential to make use of what's now being deemed to be a best practice approach, we would love to hear from you. Of course, you've got contact information here. I do want to say a big thank you to Adriana and team for giving us this platform today to showcase, but we also want to go ahead and address some of the questions that have come up over the course of the chat, over the course of that demo and presentation that I just put together there. So with Paul waiting here in the wings, I'm more than happy to go ahead and pass back over to Adriana.